question of whether there will be a recession this year, and economist Manfred Kyle presenting the Forecast and Consumer Index for the Inland Empire. The program will also feature a discussion of state and local housing policy and the housing market in the Inland Empire. Local business and government people will participate in a collective exercise to identify key challenges facing our area. Please join us on Tuesday, March 12th at the Roberts Pavilion at Claremont McKenna College. For more information, please go to inlandempirevision.org.
California headline news: Oakland School District working to operate classes without their teachers today.
Will there be alternate programming? Yeah, there probably will. This isn't going to be business as usual, obviously. But we will have the educational process continuing.
Spokesman John Sasaki with the district. 3,000 teachers on the picket lines continuing to demand higher pay and smaller class sizes. More negotiations planned for tomorrow. A UC Santa Cruz student facing felony drug charges. Colin Howard accused of creating an iPhone app disguised as a game to run a drug ring on campus.
Now, according to prosecutors, the student listed cocaine, Molly, and psychedelic mushrooms for sale, but allegedly offered other drugs upon special request. When Howard appeared in court on Tuesday, he pleaded not guilty. If convicted, he could face more than 60 years in prison.
Correspondent Gio Benitez. Rain and snow pounding the mountains of Southern California. The snow level as low as 1,500 feet in some areas, bringing rare snowfalls to areas like Palmdale. Jeff Scott, California News.
You're in the front yard, shovel in hand, about to dig, when a thought crosses your mind.
Was I supposed to call 811 before I start digging? Nah, that's just for excavator dudes.
No, dude, it's for homeowners, too. Before starting any digging project, call 811 2 working days in advance to get all underground lines marked for free, because natural gas lines and other utilities can be buried anywhere.
Got it. Thanks, deep-voiced narrator.
You're welcome, dude. Brought to you by Southwest Gas.
Hi, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green. Like you, I'm a big sports enthusiast, and I want my gear to shine like new. That's why it's cleaned with Simple Green, the concentrated cleaner that's perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new again. Try it today. If you're not 100% satisfied, I'll give you your money back. Visit us at simplegreen.com.
Simple Green, Simple Green.
Talk 102.3 FM Riverside. Thank you, America, for making us radio's number one format for 8 years. Talk 102.3 FM Riverside. KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the greatest real estate investment show ever. Here's the flip-flop investor himself, Todd Bayer.
Well, hey, everyone. How are we doing out there today? This is the Flip-Flop Investor Show, and I am your host, Todd Bayer, the Flip-Flop Investor himself. Every week, we get together and talk about real estate investing here in the Inland Empire. I like to bring on a local real estate investor, and we talk about who they are and what they do in the industry. And we got a first-timer this time. We've been having a lot of repeat guests lately, but today we got a newbie. Not a newbie in real estate, but a newbie to the show.
First-timer
here in
the house.
Isaac Mesa, how you doing, man?
Hey, guys, I'm doing good. Good.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me. This is exciting. I've never been on radio before, so.
You've never been on radio? Come on. That's the new thing that people are doing these days. Forget these podcasters out there. It's all about old-fashioned AM, FM radio.
So, yeah, the Vine is out, YouTube's out, all that
Done.
stuff.
Those things are all going
AM radio is where it's at.
AM radio is where things are going. Everybody knows. If you want to make a way for yourself, get into AM radio right now. No, but, actually, the AM radio band is still very much alive. People actually are tuning in right now. We got almost 100,000 people tuning in right now, probably something around there. Yeah. I'm looking at the board op Nick, because Nick, he's the one, he's got the live feed going on. He can see exactly what's happening out there in the world. Me here in the booth, I have no idea. I'm just assuming people are listening. So for those of you that are listening, thank you. We appreciate it. Okay, let's jump right into it. We talk about real estate investing on the show. Flip-flops are optional. You don't have to wear flip-flops.
Okay.
Isaac chose to wear nice shoes and a jacket. So for those of you watching on YouTube, even though the YouTube thing is going to disappear here in a year or two, I guarantee it now. For those of you watching on YouTube or any of the other places where the video is seen, Isaac's dressed much nicer than me.
I did opposite of flip-flops and a T-shirt. I almost
Exactly.
went full suit and, nice
Hey,
shoes.
you look good, man. You look good. You got layers on because it's cold out, all the things I probably should have done, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm getting really good at this parkour thing, trying to evade puddles in my flip-flops.
Yeah, we were walking across puddles together on the way in.
Puddle hopping. It was fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
About parkour, every time you try to do parkour, you have to yell parkour.
Do
while
you?
You're doing it. Yeah. It doesn't count if you don't yell parkour when you're doing it.
It's funny.
Just number one rule of parkour.
And this is a completely different, side note.
Right.
And,
we'll talk about real estate. We'll get there.
We're always so on topic on this show. We're always so good about it. I have notes prepared, numerous, every single time. But I remember years ago, before they started calling it parkour, they called it extreme walking.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Do you remember that?
Yep.
Like, I saw a thing on, MTV way back in the day where these guys are, and I just thought, okay, you're just doing funny tricks, but you have no skateboard or rollerblades or anything. You're just walking. Okay.
Yeah, that's funny.
Extreme walking.
I remember that. I remember that, yeah.
It became parkour. Yeah, I know. I think it might have been middle school for me, but, whatever.
Then I was in elementary because you're older, so I couldn't have been in high school. I had to have been younger.
Possibly. I don't know. Maybe I just heard about it before you because I'm so with it. I'm with these times. I'm always on the bandwagon before these things happen. That's why I got into radio. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. This is the Flip Flop Investor Show.
Investment, everything about investment.
Exactly. Everything
when
about
we talk to it.
Right. So, okay. So the burning question that everybody always has is, who the heck is Isaac Meza and why are we listening to him? So I guess we like to start off, how'd you get into the real estate investing world?
Great. Wow. So kind of been working my way in for a while now, trying to break in. I came from the world of reality TV.
Reality TV?
Yeah, I was doing that for the last 13 years.
13. So you actually filmed some of the shows,
some of the shows that you could recognize. Yeah,
some of these real estate investing type shows before.
Yeah, there's a couple. Yeah, there's a couple that is all kinds of stuff that I don't want to drop any names here.
Of course,
but,
yeah.
There's some well-known shows that I worked on for the last 13 years. It was great. It's fun.
Now, did those shows influence you at all? Like watching these shows and watching the people do the things? And
Absolutely not. I've actually still, maybe now that I've got into real estate, I've seen maybe one or two shows, episodes.
Oh, okay.
But I've never seen any of that stuff at all. I've never interested me. Mm-hmm. And now that I'm kind of even more in it, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll watch an episode of something. And I think I've watched one or two episodes of the show. But it's not
so different being in it, filming the thing that it would be watching it on TV because they're dramatized for TV. I mean, they got to make them a show. It's not a documentary.
Yeah, and
it's a show.
And that's the funny thing too, is from when me anyways, and a lot of other people, when you making TV, you don't really necessarily watch it. You just make it. You don't really watch it.
Yeah, I actually saw a thing, an interview with Johnny Depp one time, and I forget who it was. It might have been Jay Leno or somebody, but they asked him if he ever watches any of his movies. And he said he's never seen any of his movies. So he just plays the character. They make the movies, whatever he does. He's done with it at that point.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny too that you say that you worked on these shows, some of them.
Mm-hmm.
You did a lot of other stuff too, but on some of these real estate shows, and so many people
build shows, and
so, some people come to the club or they come to us, and they got into real estate because they saw Flip or Flop on TV. They saw one of these shows. And that's what kind of made them think oh, I could do that, and then they come down and they start getting involved in the club, and then they start doing deals of their own. But it's kind of funny how you were directly involved with these shows, and
that
didn't get you into it in the least, which is funny, So you're doing shows for not just the house building shows. We did other reality
all kinds of
stuff. And
those those famous couple shows, some of that stuff, a little bit of everything.
What's a famous couple show?
So there's a show on, I think it's on E. It's Ashley and Evan. It's Ashley Simpson and Evan Ross, Diana Ross' son. So I think that show we just shot the first season of that last year. So I was like, but they have all the the Kardashians. So any couple that's famous, those are the famous couple shows.
Okay, so you've been involved in some of those too.
Yeah.
And those are all 100% legitimate.
Oh yeah, everything's real.
100%
Just
real.
kidding.
Yeah. I think it's no secret anymore that some of that stuff is not scripted, but maybe set up.
So here's the thing, I'll tell you, and because everyone always thinks, oh, yeah, this stuff's scripted. So this is what, coming from someone in the industry, it's not scripted. We just coach them.
Yeah.
So when a situation, for example, if they're going to go into you see them at a restaurant and they're talking about something or arguing about something.
Right.
We told them ahead of time, like, okay, we're going to go to this restaurant and we need you to talk about this. And then once they get in there, they know what they need to do. But we don't tell them what to say. We just say it needs to circle around this topic.
Right.
And that's kind of how it's set up. So it's not really scripted. We just kind of coach them on what needs to happen.
So you need you, Real Housewife lady, need to get over here and talk about Brooks having cancer or not having cancer.
Yeah. And then if you cry, that'd be great. So if you can cry, that'd be great. Yeah.
Please cry. Yeah.
in the background, please cry. Please
I know.
cry.
Please cry. like you guys can put some like raw onions out there on the table or something.
It's funny. And then when they do cry, then you see the producers in the background. They're also crying because they're so happy that they're crying and it's going to look good on TV and everyone's all crying.
Yeah, it's it's a show. It's it's part of the thing. But we keep it real here. Yeah, this nothing here is staged. We don't rehearse anything. I didn't coach you ahead of the show and tell you what we're going to talk about. I think we're going to just lay it on you and see what happens.
Yeah. Okay.
But,
so we're
so where are we up to?
So right now
we're still doing TV.
We're not even real estate yet.
Yeah,
so we're
exactly.
in TV. So I'm in TV. I've been doing it for 13 years, and there's a lot of travel in TV. I was always traveling somewhere, long hours. Especially, I lived 60 miles outside of Hollywood.
Yeah.
So my commute times were like 2 hours in, 2 hours out. So a lot of time was spent there, and it was a lot of fun when I was single. But as I got older, and I had had a daughter, and now I'm married, I was just spending a lot of time away from my family.
Yep.
I leave at 5:30 in the morning, get home at 8:30 at night, just have dinner and go to sleep, and just kiss my daughter hi, and then
hi and good night. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that life. It's I've been in that world myself.
Yeah. So here I am in TV, and then the other thing about TV is it's hit or miss. You're working on something, and then you're not working on something. You have some time off until you get the next gig.
Right.
Sometimes that time off is 2 weeks. Sometimes it's 3 months. Sometimes like a year. So we had our daughter. And after that, I didn't have another job for a year.
Wow.
So I'm trying to make ends meet here, and I start driving Uber to make the ends meet. And I'm driving Uber full time at this point. 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, basically.
Wow.
And then what happened was I was listening to the radio all day long for like 12 hours a day, and I hated these songs. I just would hear them over and over and over, like Adele's like "Hello from" it was like on every 5 minutes, and I hated it. I just got tired of the music, and I was like, I need something else besides music, whatever. So I was like, I discovered audiobooks. So I'm like, okay, let me try to get an audiobook. So I just don't want to listen to music anymore.
Yeah.
And I read the first book I bought was actually How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Oh, okay, that's an old book.
Yeah, listen, that was
Dale Carnegie, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Life changing. It totally changed my perspective on how I do business, how I talk to people. My whole life changed from that book.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is awesome. I want to read another book. So the next book I read was Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Oh, okay.
And
the Gateway book. This is the Gateway drug book.
Yeah, and why I realized why it was a gateway is because when I read that book, my eyes opened when I always thought growing up that real investors were people that they had a lot of money and they bought houses with a lot of money and made a lot of money. So whenever we'd come across investors when I was a kid, my mom would always say, oh, they're investors, they make they have a lot of money and they buy stuff and they whatever. So whenever I heard the word investors, it was a turn off. Okay, that means they have a lot of money,
right?
They make a lot of money. I'll never be that this and that.
Yeah.
But when I read that book, I learned for the first time I learned that you don't need money to become an investor.
Nope.
And that my eyes just was like, what the heck? I've been lied to my whole life. I didn't know this whole time I could have been making all this big money because I thought I needed money, a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you don't even need money. You can do it with no money.
No money, yeah.
So that's my eyes open, my world open. And from that point on, when I'm driving Uber, all I did was read real estate books, and I knew that I knew I could do it, and I wanted to learn how to do it.
Right. So Rich Dad Poor Dad was, and you're not the only one. I mean, so many people, I'd say probably at least like 70% of the people that have come on the show have said they read Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's kind of what got me into the industry too. I mean, because I already had an entrepreneurial like mindset, but I was still kind of like grappling with the fact that my parents wanted me to go to college. They wanted me to get a regular job. And, they thought that, if I'm going to pursue something else, call it music or acting or, like whatever, I was, because I was always a creative person. I actually thought I might go into the entertainment industry at some point. I originally, when I was in high school, I went and looked at USC's School of Filmmaking or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about becoming like a writer or something like that So I actually had that kind of in my mind to do at some point, but they told me I need to get the degree as a fallback. That's what they always told me. Have this fallback plan. So, if my career as a creative person doing whatever it is that I wanted to do, if that didn't work out, then I'd have this thing I could fall back on and I could always have this job and, whatever. But I hated it. I hated the idea of it. Never really wanted to go to college that bad. The only reason I went was because, it was my parents kind of encouraging me to do that. But, I had this entrepreneurial drive. Like, I had a couple businesses before I even exited high school. Oh. So I ended up reading Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was like 18. And, it really just sort of like put like another person's perspective on it. I'd never heard anybody else talk about entrepreneurship. Never heard about anybody talk about it. So like when Robert Kiyosaki talks about his path to like becoming a real estate investor, it's for me, I'm like, okay, like this is what I tell people now when I tell them I want to be a real estate investor or I want to be an entrepreneur. This is what I can tell people so that they can understand. And you know what, at that point I didn't care what anybody said.
And I think that's what it is. I think that might be the common thread. Is like it's that moment when you're a lot of us don't learn about finances work. We don't know about finances and investing, all that stuff. We don't learn about that. It's that moment when you're reading that book when you first find out like you don't need money to make money. Because you've always told it takes money to make money, takes money to make money. Well,
it does take money. It just doesn't have to be your money. That's the thing. I mean, and yeah, some of those old adages, they're great. They make perfect sense. It's just they didn't add that caveat, and they're like, yeah, it does take money to make money, but it doesn't have to be your money.
Yeah, and it's that moment in that book when you read that, they're like, oh my God, and then you're like, I want it now. I know I can do this. Now let's do this.
Yeah, and it's funny because like this show, like we're not affiliated with Rich Dad Poor Dad in any way. We're not. I don't know Robert Kiyosaki. I've never met the guy, but we end up talking about him so often on the show. And for anybody that's out there listening, like, you could buy the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's on Amazon. It's cheap. It's like under $20 for this book, and it's life-changing for so many people. Really is. But you can also get it as an audiobook through Amazon. But even so, like there's people that read the book themselves and post the video on Amazon, on YouTube. It's free. You could literally hear the book read by somebody that wasn't the official, Audible version. But because there's nothing wrong with you reading a book and just happening to film the thing. Like apparently,
wait, they film themselves reading the book?
They just record the audio. It's not you don't even see the person. They just record the audio. Like I literally just listened to Rich Dad Poor Dad again, and that's how I did it. I just went on YouTube because YouTube will save your spot.
So instead of like having to have a subscription, some sort of like buy an audiobook, you can just go on YouTube.
It's 100% free
and listen to someone read it.
Like I want to take everybody's excuse out of it. Like there are people that post this thing on YouTube. Rich Dad Poor Dad. They read the entire book.
Okay.
It's just
so there you go. You have no excuse. You don't have to pay $20 to buy the book. You don't got to pay $5 to get the audiobook. You can go for free on YouTube and listen to it.
And listen to it for free. And you can do that with a lot of books. It's not just Rich Dad Poor Dad.
It's another eye-opening thing. But do they read them like as sexy as the
actually the guy that did the one I listened to, he wasn't half bad. Like I mean,
they got the radio voice.
I think he had a better radio voice than I do. He's like Rich Dad Poor Dad, read to you by I can't even do it right now. Before I started the radio show, they gave me just intense, crazy training here on exactly how to train my voice and speak exactly the way I'm supposed to do. Yeah, they told me this is how you do it. Vocal coaching for I don't know how many sessions. No, just kidding. They didn't give me any training. I just came in here and started talking into a microphone one day. It was pretty interesting. If you guys ever want, you can go back and check out episode number 1. We had Jim Keller here as our guest.
That was your first one?
That was our first one.
Oh, yeah.
We were actually on our way to Las Vegas. We stopped to do the show, and then we went to Vegas to go to a seminar on property management and master leasing. It was a great seminar.
So was your episode 1 here, was that your first time on the radio, or had to be on the radio before?
So I was actually on the radio. There was there's a lady on KCAA. Her name's Bev, and she does a show called Let's Go Shopping with Bev. And she had me come on the show. Me and Stephen McKee, actually, we both came on the show. That was a few weeks prior to our first show. Okay. So we had like that one experience to go on how we should run the thing, and it was pretty fun, pretty interesting how it's gone. I don't know where Bev is. She used to have a show on right before mine, but where did she go, Nick?
She moved. She's still on Thursdays, but she moved to 2 p.m.
Oh, so she just didn't want to see me anymore? Is that what it was?
That's what I was told, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I figured. Yeah, no.
I'm just kidding, by the way.
We love Bev and Rich. They're great people. I just, I don't get to see them. We have U-Turn Radio on right before us now. So,
yep.
They're good people too. I like having all these folks around. There was a time where I didn't have any show before. It was like a sports show or something like that was recorded somewhere else. And so there was nobody in the studio. I used to be able to come in early and make all kinds of noise, but now we got to come in and be quiet and be respectful of who's on the the air. But anyway,
because they're all finding out that AM radio is where it's at. That's
exactly. I mean, this they
now there's a line of people outside before we came in. They're after us.
Yeah, they are trying to get on the air. I mean, they're having a hard time picking which show to put on next because KCAA, as you all know, is the studio that leaves no listener behind, and we cover every single person and every taste here. So yeah, you can listen to any book you want on YouTube. And so yeah, those of you driving, listening to the show right now, you have no excuse. Listen to Rich Dad Poor Dad. You can listen to it for free on YouTube. Obviously, you should support Robert Kiyosaki. Yeah. At some point, I think you should buy the book, or at some point, you should maybe pay for the audiobook and listen to the guy that reads it from them. It's he's got a really good voice for reading books, but. Yeah, so you read Rich Dad Poor Dad. You're driving Uber.
Yeah.
And it just revolutionized your way of thinking.
Yeah, driving Uber, and then so I just got to the point where we were at that point, just driving all the time, and like I needed to make a choice. I could listen to music all day long while I'm driving Uber, or I can like be productive and like better myself and learn something, and that's what I chose. Like I want to learn about this. And what better way is while I'm in my car making money already, I'm learning how to make even more money.
So when people would get in the car, because occasionally you have to pick people up, would you keep the...
Then I got to change the station to like...
Oh, so you go back to something else.
Change the station, put on the like...
Yeah, here's Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Like, here's Adele again. Great.
And then, and then sometimes it'd be a really good book where like, oh my God, please let this ride be over so they can get out of my car and I can switch back to the other book.
Oh man. I mean, I can relate to that in other instances because I would listen to audiobooks a lot of times when I'm going in between houses. We'd sort of set up a path of like houses to look at in one day.
Oh yeah.
So it's like there's a cool piece of software. I think it was through the MLS where you could basically put in all the addresses that you're going to hit, and it would map it out for you to create the most like efficient map to like get from point A to point B. So you like started at your office, go to all these different houses, end at your office. And it was pretty cool. So like we'd have these like things, and I remember I used to listen to audiobooks a lot, but sometimes you're only driving for like 3 minutes in between houses, and you're like like you'd sit in the driveway like listening to this thing. And I remember one time I sat in the driveway and the neighbor like comes up. he's like what are you doing? This is a vacant house. Like, what are you doing parked in the driveway? And I'm like, oh, I'm actually interested in potentially buying this. I'm here to look at the house. And I was like, I was listening to a book and I didn't want to turn it off, So it was like, it's pretty funny. Sometimes you get approached by these neighbors. I don't know if that's happened to you yet or not, but
no.
Sometimes people are like, they're very aware of what's going on in the neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
And like sometimes it's
Mrs. Kravitz.
Yeah, exactly. Mrs. Kravitz. That's Andy's favorite thing. Andy Teasley. But these neighbors, like a lot of times it's because there's like kids hanging out and they go into these homes and they like, vandalize them and stuff. Yeah. And some neighbors just coming over there to make sure that you're not going to break in and vandalize it, which is kind of nice. I like those people.
Yeah.
But sometimes they accost us thinking we're going to go in and do the same thing, and they come at us really hot. Like what are you doing here? And like, is this your house? I'm sorry, I didn't know. It's pretty funny, but. Anyway, so you read these books, people get out.
So actually, now I realize that we're on the radio right now. There could be some Uber drivers right now that are trying to better themselves listening to this right now.
I would think that there should be.
So if there are, I mean, shout out to all my Uber and Lyft people out there that are learning about real estate while they're working, because, I mean, you have no excuse. If you're in that situation where you're, doing this to make ends meet, instead of listening to the radio, like learn something. Like listen to us, learn about investing. Listen to those audiobooks, and then. Like it's been a couple of years since from when I was there, and now here I am, working with you guys, trying to do deals, and so it's use that time. I called it Uber University. Like you're in the car, you're Ubering, you're learning something that you want to, be better at, and it's your Uber University.
Yeah. So you made the big jump. You just went from I listened to Rich Dad Poor Dad, I'm driving Uber, now I'm working with you guys. There's a huge gap in there. So
and that's the story.
Yeah, that was it. That's all that happened. So like basically from listening to the books and then like. At some point, you came to our investment club, right?
Yeah.
Was that sort of like the next major step you had made, or like?
So
what even got you to the investment
club? There's
club?
probably one more step before I went to the club. So I was, I'm listening to all the books. So I listened to all the books I could, and then I ran out of books. And then, then I learned about podcasts. I never knew about podcasts. Yeah. So actually, what happened
that's a deep rabbit hole right there.
Yeah. What happened was, after I finished reading all the investor books that I could, I went to YouTube. Like, well, I still want to learn more about investing. So I went to YouTube, typed in real estate investing, and I found a video, YouTube video, but it was a podcast that was recorded, kind of like this, but it was Bigger Pockets.
Okay.
And then I was
Brandon
like, what
Turner.
is this? Well, yeah, I'm like, what is this Bigger Pocket stuff? And then I learned about podcasts.
Yep.
And I subscribed to that podcast, and now I had a whole new, world of real estate knowledge to learn from.
Yep.
So now I'm listening to podcasts and driving, Uber. Now I graduated. I was, from my freshman year in Uber, listening to books. Now I'm listening to podcasts.
Right. There you go. Some people don't do the books; they just go straight to podcasts. That's that's one way to go. But we appreciate them because they listen to this show, and they come up and tell me that they heard the show. I'm like, that's kind of cool. I didn't know I actually had people that listen. But
So now I'm on podcasts, and then so I'm like, okay, well, I know all the stuff about real estate. I read all these books. I'm listening. I know how to do this stuff, and I just kind of knew it, but I just didn't know where to go with all this knowledge I had. I knew what they tell you to do, but I was kind of still afraid.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the episodes of the podcast, I think he said, like, he's saying, talking to newbies, like, get out there, go to your local RIAs and blah, 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 and this and that. I'm like, RIAs? What is that?
Yeah.
And then they, looked it up, and it was a real estate investment club. And like, I had no idea there was clubs for real estate investors.
Yeah.
Like, so now I'm like a new thing. Okay, now what is this? And so
going on to your junior and senior year.
That's junior and senior. Yeah. So junior here, I'm in junior year of Uber University.
Right.
I look up. I'm Googling. In between rides at Uber, I'm Googling what is a RIA, and then it's okay, real estate investment club. So I typed in Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club, or maybe it wasn't right dead on the nose. Maybe typed Rancho Cucamonga Real Estate Investment Club.
I'm sure it showed up anyway.
Yeah. First thing that comes up was the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club.
Yep.
I'm like, oh crap.
That's a great club, by the way.
Yeah, amazing club. A lot of people. So then I'm like, there's this whole club thing where people go in and they talk about this. And so I knew that that's what they were pushing on, the podcast is go to these and meet people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, I guess that's the next step. That's what I got to do. And so I talking to myself, and I was just really nervous about going to this. I didn't know what it was going to be like. If it was going to be 5 people, 20 people, 100 people, and not know anybody, and how to. So I was like really nervous.
And I remember you came dressed to the nines. Like I think you wore a full on suit, didn't you?
I basically, yeah.
Well, it's funny because a lot of people I think have that idea. Like I'm going to be meeting with all these like real estate investors. These are big money people.
Yeah.
They obviously dress like business people, and it's such a misconception. I mean, I think probably one of the richest people that comes to our meeting looks like he's homeless. I mean, you should see his truck. It's like 14 years old. No, not 14. It's probably like 24 years old.
Yeah.
It's so funny how things change. Like I call myself the flip flop investor. I usually just wear a t-shirt, shorts, and flip flops. But the like some of the people, like you could tell they're new almost because they come in, they dress really really nice, and you're like, I need to dress that nice. Most of the guys that actually do this don't really dress like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was just
here, I hadn't got to the club yet, so I had just learned about the clubs, and I'm trying to talk myself to go to this meeting.
Mm-hmm.
At the Mission Inn and all. I'm like, okay, I know I need to, because I need this is the next step for my career. I have to do this. I have to get over this fear of I don't have no idea what's going to be there when I go to this club.
Right.
So I remember I got there a little early. I went to a bar like nearby, and I was like, okay, I need a drink. So I need to calm my nerves. I don't know what's going to be in this thing when I was just afraid it's going to be a group of like 8 people and really uncomfortable. And
okay. Wow.
And then and I'm like, it's an investment club. I'm not an investor, so that was my, I just
wanted, so you were worried by going that you were going to like upset people maybe like that, like hear you're
just like, this guy's not an investor. Why is he here? What is he doing? You know?
It's funny because like half the people that come every single month to the investment club are first timers, number one, and number two, they haven't actually done anything in real estate. They're still in the learning stage, which is great because
and I didn't learn that till later on.
I know, and a lot of people do because you're not the first one to tell me that. But like, when I got started, I didn't know about RIAs. The only real estate meetings I went to were like real estate agent type, like board meetings, and like they did these caravan things in Moreno Valley. I used to go to these, like we'd go to like office meetings and stuff like that. That's what we would go to because my mom was an appraiser and that was her like primary source of business was through real estate agents. So we would always just go to these meetings with the real estate agents, and that's how I met like so many people in the very, very beginning. And it wasn't until then I went to like my first like real estate seminar.
Okay.
Like one of these ones where they try to sell you like the really expensive boot camp and stuff. I went to one of these things, one of these meetings, and then I meet all these other people, but most of them were new, and like there was just like a couple people in there that like were not new. They were like actually doing real estate investing, and they were there just looking for fresh blood essentially. But like it wasn't until years later. I mean, it wasn't until 2013, 2012 that I went to my first real estate investment group, meeting, and that was out in Orange County.
Okay.
That was the first one I ever went to. It was out in Orange County. And then I found out there was one in Corona. So I started going to that for a little bit. And then they shut the one in Corona down, and then we started ours. We started the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club because there wasn't another one in Riverside, not one like anywhere near here. The nearest one was in Coachella Valley, and then the next nearest one to that was like Pasadena, or you can go to the ones out in like Irvine and stuff. So like we had nothing in the Inland Empire.
Yeah.
So
there was a need.
There was a need, and you know what? It's like now we're like the largest club. Yeah. It's crazy. Like we did not expect this going into it, but now it's here. Now it's this big old thing, and it's great because all these people that are trying to learn, there's a lot of people that come that are mentors that come every single month because we do a lot of business with all the more senior people, and like all the senior people do a lot of business together. So we keep coming to like bring our new deals. Like this is like once a month we get to see each other. And then the new people come because they want to learn from us. So it's a nice little trade.
Yeah. And if anyone's listening out there, they're not scary. Just kidding.
Right. It's a little intimidating. I could see that, because it's big. There's a lot of people. Like it's gonna be a little intimidating, but just face your fears. Nobody's there to hurt you.
Yeah.
Everybody's like at our club anyway. Everybody's very nice, very helpful.
Yeah.
I can't speak for other clubs. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because it did take me a little bit of talking to myself, and I'm a sociable person.
You're very social.
But it took me, I had to talk myself into this, to go. I had no idea what it was, and I did, and I'm glad I did. So I went, and I remember the first meeting I went to. You guys did you do a haves and wants section where you go up and say if you have anything, or if you want anything, and then I'm sitting there and I see these people going up, and I'm like, I should just go up there and introduce myself, say I'm Isaac and I'm an investor and I want to learn from whatever. So I got in the back of that line, and then when it was my turn, I went up and I said something like, "Hi, my name's Isaac Mesa. Today's my first day of being a real estate investor." And that guy really got a chuckle, and a lot of people came up to me afterwards because they're like, "What? You woke up today and decided you wanted to be an investor?" Because it's his first day. I was like, "No, I've been learning, but it's funny that I said that because that was really the first big step that actually got me." Into the world, before I was just learning, educating, and not really doing anything, but going to that meeting was the first step when I was like, okay, now I'm networking, now I'm building a network of people.
Now you're a real estate investor.
And that could,
it's official that day.
Yeah. That could be like, this, big day was that day one.
That's awesome.
At the meeting, yeah.
And I see, and I remember you doing that too, because I was standing like right on the side of the stage. I remember you saying that.
Yeah, I forgot. It was either you or Steven that like gave me like a high five or a thumbs up or something like. Yeah. I was like, what? Yeah, I just went up and because I just wanted everyone in the room to know who I was because. I'm like, okay, this is networking. I want people to know me.
Yeah, now you're a regular. You're here, you're there all the time.
Because it was so much fun. I was like, I got to go. This was fun.
Yeah.
And then you go once, and you get hooked, and you just go back.
Yeah, exactly. You've been, let's see, we've had 2 meetings so far this month, and you've been at both of them. The cash flow meeting on the first Wednesday, you were there, and then you were at the Let's Make a Deal meeting we just had last Wednesday, last week.
Yeah, now I go to, not even the main one, I go to all the other ones, the subsidiary meetings.
Exactly, yeah. And we have, let's see, we have Saturday morning coffee coming up this Saturday.
Yeah.
So, and then we have the main monthly meetings coming up next week on Wednesday.
Yep. So
you'll be at both of those, or are you coming to coffee? I don't know.
I'm not sure if I can go. I usually don't go on the Saturday ones because actually I'm still part-time Uber University. I'm getting my master's.
Okay, good.
So
going back.
Yeah. Friday nights is like just to get a little extra money. I still go out Friday night all night.
Yeah.
So Saturday I sleep in. I can't get up.
You got to pull an all-nighter. Do an all-nighter. Stay up late Friday. Come in. Completely dead tired on Saturday morning. It'll be fun for all of us. Oh man, I did that.
And then I give someone a ride home.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, why not?
You need a ride home?
Oh man, what did we do? I think we had like an event we went to, and it was on a Friday night, like right before the Saturday morning coffee. Mm-hmm. And I got like an hour and a half of sleep. It was so rough. And I got to show up the next morning. I'm usually like the first one there because I got to put up a sign and a couple other things.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, I remember that. I was like so tired and hungover, and like. It was rough. I'm like, never again am I doing that because that was so hard. I was like this close to just canceling it. But so many people go to that. It's like our second biggest thing we do right now.
Yeah.
Last time we did, I think we had about like 70 people show up to the coffee, which is crazy.
Oh, it's cool. It's fun.
But we love the coffee. Lyft coffee is good stuff.
Yeah.
Since I'm mentioning it, people are probably wondering, hey, well, how do I find out about this? Go on meetup.com.
Yeah.
If you go on meetup.com, just look for the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club. We're right on there. We're the club. We've got over 4,500 members. So that's the club that we're in. Organized by Todd Bayer, myself, and Stephen McKee. You'll see our dumb-looking pictures up there, wearing suits, which is somewhat misleading, I guess people have told us. But look for us on Meetup. or you can Google it. We're usually the first result if you type in Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club.
Yeah.
And come on out. Good group of people. That cash flow meeting actually is one thing I wanted to mention, because we were talking about Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh yeah.
And that's a board game he created. He made this board game called Cash Flow, which is it's kind of a souped up version of Monopoly, a more realistic version of like what a real estate investor's life would be like.
Yeah.
So you're kind of playing Monopoly mixed with like the game of life a little bit, and your goal is to get out of the rat race, because you have a profession, and like, last time I played, I think I was an airline pilot or something like that. Had a really nice salary.
I was a janitor.
So you probably won then.
I did. It took a while, but
it's not about winning. It's about getting out of the rat race. You probably got out first.
I actually did, but it took a while still. Yeah.
It still takes a while because you got to go several turns, and you get presented with different deals.
Yeah, I didn't get any deal. That was why, because I just wasn't getting any deals.
Oh, you're getting you were landing on different spaces that didn't have
not
deals.
Yeah,
it happens, but you still got out first even without the deals. But yeah, it's fun, man. We get together. It's the Round Table Clubhouse in Highland. So that's it's pretty fun. We just get some pizza and salad and breadsticks.
It's super fun, and like you said, it's like a souped up version of Monopoly. But the good thing about the cool thing that makes it different than just a more version of Monopoly is that it uses the terms, investment terms.
Right.
So you start to become familiar with these terms, with ROI and all these stock stuff and just all these terms that you don't use on a regular basis. I bring my wife to this, and just because she doesn't know anything about real estate except for just what I tell her, so she kind of basically went in one ear out the other.
Yeah.
So I bring her to this. Just because I wanted to kind of like learn about this stuff, and she's kind of learning about this stuff. Like the other day, she had someone at our table had this deal where it was kind of tricky. They were going to pass on it, but someone else explained, no, you can do this, and it is a deal, because they thought it wasn't, but they figured out how it was a deal. And then my wife like 5 minutes later, because she missed why it was a deal. She's like, wait, why was that a deal again? What did she do to make it a deal? Like, see, you're learning. So
yeah, now she's curious.
Yeah. So it's good. Yeah. So I like bringing her because she gets to learn about these terms and become familiar with investing terms, and just anyone else. Yeah, you're playing Monopoly, but using real life terms and situations.
Yeah, and it's a cheap date night. I mean, we charge $10 at the door because we do have pizza.
I think she said the only reason she comes is because she gets pizza.
Yeah, that's got to be it.
That's what she said.
What I like about the game too is that it's collaborative. So like you're not playing against the other players. Like in a lot of cases, you're doing these deals, with other players in the game. So like I might have some money I can contribute to that deal, so I'll be your lender on it. They're able to buy the deal, so they get the cash flow or whatever, but I'm getting interest payments or something like that. So it's cool how you can play the game.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't realize that. Yeah, it really isn't competitive. It's we're all doing this. We all have the same goal,
right?
And then we're all trying to teach each other what you do or you don't know.
Yeah.
I never really see us playing. We're all trying to see.
I mean, that's what it's like in real life, because like we have the investment club, and there's a lot of people at the club, and we all want to flip, we all want to buy notes, we all want to do loans, we all want to do all kinds of stuff that are investing in real estate, and we're all in there for the same thing. And sometimes we're even fighting over the same deal, and I don't want to say fighting, but like sometimes we're all interested in the same deal at the same time, and we're all submitting offers on it, and maybe one of the other members of the club is the one that gets the deal. But sometimes you can work collaboratively with these people, and we've done it numerous times where we've joint ventured. Like somebody in the club, if they wanted to buy a deal, we put up all the capital for it, and in some cases we've managed the deal for them, because if somebody's new and they don't know what they're doing, they kind of want to lean on somebody that has a little more experience, because we'll make sure the rehab goes like it's supposed to go. We have a tendency to reduce the number of hiccups that happen in a deal. It doesn't mean we have no hiccups. Like hiccups always come with deals, and especially lately, this rain's been killing us. But we're that's like we work collaboratively with other people, and that's I think that's the important thing you can get from cash flow, is that this is not a solo sport. Real estate's a team sport.
Yeah,
it's meant to be played as a team. Exactly. You can't do this alone. Like, I tried to do real estate investing alone. You could probably do it, but you're only going to get 1, maybe 2 deals a year. Like that's maximum, because if you're going to be like at the property, managing the contractors, you're going to be, running and picking up materials, all this other stuff. Plus, then once you're done with that, now you're back to square one. You're trying to find the next deal. It's a lot of work to do it by yourself. And, you're going to make a few extra dollars doing it that way, but I can tell you it is not worth it.
Yeah.
Like, you want a team.
Yeah, and plus, they're your friends too. Like that's one a great thing from the club too. It's like a lot of these people that from the club, like you and Steven, were like my first friends there. We're like, we're friends, and I met other people there that we see each other on monthly or maybe every bi-monthly basis, and we're friends. We talk and we see each other at the meetups. We all hang out and talk together, and it's just like they say, if you surround yourself with the kind of people that you want to be. Yep. And that's what's happening. You're developing these friendships.
Exactly.
And now I'm around investors and realtors all the time.
Right. Yeah. And they say it that your network defines your net worth. Like,
oh yeah.
Because if you're around other people doing this, like naturally you're just going to push a little bit harder and focus more on it. Plus, people have good ideas sometimes, and you can kind of bounce these ideas off people. So.
As they go, your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because and now I think there's a lot of those, because in Spanish, maybe it's in English too. They say, tell me who your friends. Tell me who your friends are. I'll tell you who you are.
Okay.
Is that an English saying, or did I just translate? Okay, yeah. Because my dad used to always say it in Spanish.
How do they say it in Spanish?
Dime quién son tus amistades. Yo te digo quién es usted.
Okay, that's exactly
Yeah, but
that's almost like a literal translation.
Yeah. So there's that saying, and then there's the other saying where they say, you're the sum of the 5 people that you hang out with the most.
Yeah, that's an English thing.
That one's English. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the English version of what you just said in Spanish. That you are.
Oh, you're right. They're right. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. I mean, and it's so true. I mean, I know that when I was hanging around a lot of people that just wanted to get drunk on the weekends, guess what I was doing? Like it was just, we're working our little stupid jobs at a restaurant and, partying, but nobody was doing anything. So it was actually one of the first people that kind of like got me to think about investing was a waiter I was working with at the Olive Garden, years ago. And this is a guy that he was in the military, he was in the Army, and he was going to school. And so the restaurant job he had was paying for his schooling, but the GI Bill was sending him money for schooling as well, but he didn't need it. So he was just taking that money and putting it in the stock market. And his whole goal was to like buy a fourplex and live in one of the units and rent the other 3 out and have his rent basically paid for by the other 3 units.
Yeah.
Great idea, and he's now done it. And actually I just saw him on Facebook the other day. He's like part of the Grant Cardone's whatever 10X University or whatever he calls it. So I was like, oh, cool. He's actually doing stuff in real estate now. So, Facebook. I lost touch with him years ago, but I just saw him pop up on Facebook the other day. I'm like, oh, cool. I got to reach out now and, catch up because who knows? Maybe he's doing something really cool that I want to be a part of.
Yeah.
But but I didn't hang out with him as much because he was so he's a military guy. He was very regimented and he was very disciplined, and I wasn't at that time, so he was hard to be around because I didn't want to be a part of his disciplined ritualistic lifestyle. So but now I'm kind of looking
you didn't
back.
Surround yourself with him because that's not who you wanted to be.
Exactly. I was hanging around the people that were just partying on the weekends and just chasing girls and stuff like that, but that's definitely not my lifestyle anymore. So I've been married now very happily for gosh, it's been? It's gonna be 12 years this year. So
congrats.
Awesome.
That's good.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm 3 months in.
4 months in. Yeah. That was it was kind of sudden. I didn't know you were getting married. Then all of a sudden, hey, by the way, I'm engaged. I'm like, oh, cool. Send me your registry.
And then a month later, hey, we're having a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
wait,
we're having a baby. Hey, that's kind of how went with me and my wife. I mean, we got married, and literally a month later, we were already ready for having the first baby. Not having, but we got pregnant. So it was, it was wonderful. It was great. Yeah. Babies are tiring. So I get tired just thinking about babies.
Yeah.
Love them.
But that goes back around to the whole real estate. I mean, when I was originally saying, I was, originally working in television, spending all my time, never see it. But now transitioning into this kind of a career allows for me to, spend more time with my family.
Right.
Before I was getting up at 5:30, getting home at 8:30.
Yep.
Now I'm working over with you all. And I at the office at 9. I leave my house at 8:30. So
you're going opposite of traffic coming from Rancho Cucamonga to Riverside. It's there's nobody on the road.
That's 2.5 hours extra in the morning I have now, and that's 2.5 hours to spend with my daughter. We wake up and we have breakfast. We get ready for school.
Yep.
And so that's 2.5 hours right there now. And then I'm getting home at 5 o'clock. And then that's an extra. When I was getting home at 8:30, it's an extra 3.5 hours. So
right.
it's that's 6 hours a day now with my family now that I have.
That you've gotten back basically.
Yeah, and then hopefully eventually, you get this going on a system where I can just work at home.
Right.
And now I'm at home all the time.
Yeah, exactly. You can be home, and it's being at home for me is kind of tough. Like it's hard for me to work from home because like I also have all like my creature comforts there. So like I'm really good at telling myself like I don't really have to do that. I can get that email out tomorrow. Like I'm really good at that. So sometimes it's bad for me to be at home. Like if I'm at work, it's like I can stay focused. But man, it's like it's tough sometimes. It's tough to be at the office sometimes too because like. This is a social business, and there's a lot of really social people around us. Yeah, and I'm a social person too, so sometimes it's tough because
basically we all talk a lot at the office.
We do, man. Like it's tough because like sometimes you really got to get something done, and it's like somebody pops in, and you're like, hey man, I just got a sec. Like yeah, cool man, that's great, but talk to you later. Then like right after they leave, somebody else comes, and you have to like that's kind of what happened this morning. Like I think like everybody from Rehab Loan Group had made it into my office like in the morning.
Today,
we're like me and Steve, we had like a meeting this morning with like a political guy and some other things. Like it was just like like I love everybody in the office, but like sometimes it's just like oh man, we like it's like we're trying to focus on this one thing, but we got it done. It's just like sometimes it's tough. It's tough to be home. Sometimes it's tough to be at the office.
Yeah,
but.
It's part of the weather too, it was all dark and wet. We were like, let's go talk to somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of depressing. I'm gonna go talk to Todd.
Got to get rid of the solar aptitude disorder, the sad thing that people have, like in the cloudy states like Washington and stuff.
Yeah,
people in the Midwest, they always or not Midwest, the Northeast.
Yeah. I think they call it, is it Pacific Northeast? What they call
Pacific Northeast? No, Pacific Northwest.
Northwest, yeah. Pacific Northwest.
Yep,
yeah.
Like Seattle. It's like raining all the time.
Yeah.
But it's snowing here, right? Everybody's getting snowed on today?
Oh, yeah. You just go on Facebook. You see like 20 videos of people filming the snow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, at least in where I was, in Rancho Cucamonga, it was snowing, so I'm not sure. Not Riverside.
Riverside's lower, I think. Yeah. But elevation-wise. But it might be. I don't know.
Rancho's like right on that foot. So
yeah, you're right at the foothills. So you're just getting that carryover flurry, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't get to experience it. I saw the videos, though, but...
Yeah, somebody had posted this video. Like, they live in Iowa, and they posted this, photo of, like, all this white stuff on the ground. I was like, what is that? I don't know what that is. Is that some kind of white sand or something? I don't know. I'm a California boy, so... All right. Okay. So we've gotten off track numerous times, and we kind of left off with you going to the investment club for the first time, and, like, I think you'd been going to the investment club for like at least 2 years now?
Yeah, I think it's 2. This might be the 3rd. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, like because I can't remember the exact month that you came. Like
June.
It was a June, huh?
Okay. I got to the meeting and there's a sign that said Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club Meetup June whatever. And I was right outside the entrance and I took a picture of it because that was the day my life was going to change.
Nice.
So I took a picture of that and I have it in my phone. Yeah.
Sweet. So
June,
you got it.
Like June something. Yeah.
June 2016.
I don't know, something. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're coming up on 3 years.
Yeah, coming up on 3 years. Yeah.
Man, we got to get you a 3-year pin.
Well, you know what? So let me cover a couple of stuff that we, real quickly. So I'm going to these meetings all the time, but basically I'm still working in reality television, and so I was trying to do real estate and with y'all when I'm not working in between jobs, and so I'd be working for a couple months and a half, a 1 month break in between jobs. All right, let me do real estate. And it just wasn't enough to get traction.
Yeah, I remember like you would disappear sporadically. Yeah. And you come
then
back,
I'd jump on another
show.
Yeah, and I'd leave for like 3 months, and then I'm done with it, and I'm okay. I'll have 1 month again. Let me do real estate, and it just was never enough traction. I could never get enough traction, and finally I said I can't. With the industry I'm in, I can't just do this on the side. I need some, a nice chunk of time to do this. And then this was around the time they got married, and we had our kids, and my wife, she wanted to make me home more for the family because I'm traveling. I'm spending all my days gone. She's like, you need to do something closer to home. Like, oh, perfect. This is a perfect time for me to maybe make that transition into real estate. So I decided, like, I need to make some money full time in the real estate industry. I need to be just immerse myself in the industry. So that's when I had finished the show. I had reached out to you and Steven and said, "Hey guys, I'm back again.
Yep.
But this time I want to stay.
For good.
Yeah. Like, is there any job I can do in the industry? I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's in anything. It could have been anything.
Yeah.
I just wanted some sort of job I could do in the industry so I can be in the industry full time because I knew I wasn't getting anywhere just doing it for a little bit of time.
Right.
And then that's when you invited me to come over, work with you at RLG.
Yep.
And I'm like, perfect, because I just want to be in there. I want to be networking with people. And now I feel like I'm making a lot more traction now than I was before, because I'm surrounded by people in the industry, all day long.
Yep.
And going out networking, my network is getting bigger, and that was the next big good move I made to get in here. Was had to leave that other job and just surround myself in the industry that I want to be working in.
It's one of those. It's a Robert Kiyosaki principle. He talks about working to learn, not to earn. Like you get a job because you have a specific thing you're trying to learn how to do, and it's like I think it's a very important thing to work in the real estate industry while you're becoming a real estate investor, because there's so much that you don't know. Like you can learn it from all these different places, but it's like until you work in the industry, like until you start seeing deals actually closing and like things like moving and stuff, until you like meet the people, and it's just you don't have any kind of reference point. So
why didn't you tell me this 2.5 years ago?
Oh, I know, because you had a job, but it's I worked for my mom. She was an appraiser. Like it had nothing to do with real estate investing. Like investing came later, and I didn't set out working with her even to become an investor. Like I thought it'd be kind of a good segue, but really it was because what I was doing I wasn't very good at, and it was a sales type job. I wasn't a very good salesman at it, so I went to go work for her, and she basically could pay my salary that I needed to make at that time to sustain myself. So, I made the transition that way. And then Steve started flipping houses. So once Steve started flipping houses is when I was like, oh, okay, well, if Steve can do it, he's kind of an idiot. I could definitely do it. So
what year was this?
This would be 2005, I think, is when Steve flipped that first house.
Okay.
It was in Moreno Valley. I remember that because he made me and all of our other friends go out there, and we had to like help him build cabinets and all kinds of stuff. So it was pretty funny. One of my buddies, he got too drunk while we were building the cabinets, and he fell over on one of them and completely pancaked the cabinet box that we had just built. I remember that. It was pretty funny, but it wasn't funny for Steve because this is like he took out a loan from Cash Call, one of these like really short term, like very high interest rate loans, to do this. So he didn't think it was very funny that our friend Billy, smashed that cabinet. But
Billy wasn't his real name though.
Yeah, I would never use I would never call Billy by his real name on the radio show. And he's definitely not listening right now. Actually, he probably is. He's actually one of the more faithful listeners. And thanks for tuning in, Billy. We really appreciate that. But heck, he's actually been on the show before. He's been on the show a couple times. Once as a caller, he called in on one of the live shows we did, and he was on the show at one point because we were talking about real estate tech. He's like he's a software engineer, so
we
were talking about real estate tech and how we can make it better and stuff. So anyway, working in the industry is super beneficial. So I like you. Like you said before, we're all friends too. So like I'm like, you know what? I want to give Isaac this opportunity because I don't make this offer to just anybody. You know what I mean? Like it's not something I'm like, here, let me pay you for a while you learn this industry. Like that is not my way of doing things. But we're making it happen because I think this is a good spot for you to be in. Like you with like your gift of gab, I think you'd make a really good lender. So and I'm kind of I lean towards lending. Lending's really my favorite style of investing in real estate because it's hands off.
That's cool. And maybe that's I'm learning this and that. Maybe that's where I end up. Maybe
you might
maybe I like it. Like,
worst case scenario, it becomes a tool in your toolbox.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people. Like the more you learn about the industry, the more different ways you learn about investing. It's just whenever something pops up, which things do, opportunity gets presented all the time. Like you're going to know what to do with it. Like if all you ever learned was rental property, then that's all you're ever going to look for, and that's all you're ever going to find. But if you know all these different ways to structure deals, you're like, oh, I could either make this one a rental, or I could flip it, or I could do a note on this deal, or maybe I'm just going to go in and manage the rehab, or I'm a realtor, I could sell it. There's all these different things you could do. So it's just another tool in the toolbox, and I'm kind of sad you missed out because I did a presentation last night on originating notes and how to buy notes and stuff like that, and how to buy notes with other people's money. It was a really good presentation, and I'm probably going to put together a class on it based upon the feedback I got last night. So if I put together a class, I think that'll go real well because there was a lot.
Good feedback on that.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was actually really good. What I did, because it was the first time I presented this to anybody. So put together this presentation, kind of agonized over the presentation for a while because I wanted it to be really simple, and presenting like financing is not a simple concept. So like,
and it's so exciting.
Oh, it sounds so exciting. I know people are just like, man, I can't wait to get into finance. Like, But it's exciting when you see the results of it. You know, so like I showed people an example at the end of how they could start with their current income, never increasing their income, where they could pay off their house and their car within 18 years, and then investing that money that they would have paid towards their house and their car for the remainder of their 30-year mortgage note, and how much money they'd have after just in total it was 40 years. They'd be a multimillionaire. So you know, just showing people how to do that, like that blew people away. Yeah. So you know, financing is really interesting when you see how it can work for you. But yeah, so I guess now you're a loan officer at Rehab Loan Group, and you know, it's going real good so far.
Yeah, I love it. You know, said you're learning while working, and so I'm meeting a lot of people, and now you know, deals are starting to come my way. Actually, today, you know, someone I got an instant message this morning saying, "Hey, I got this deal. You know, can you look at it? Would you be interested in it?" So yeah, just by surrounding myself, networking with all these people, and you know, making my network grow with realtors and investors, like now stuff is starting to flow to me.
Yeah, and that's
which never would have happened if I would have still been doing my job, trying to let me be an investor for a month.
Yep.
Okay, let me be an investor for another 2 weeks. No, it had to take being around these people and all this stuff.
It's a participation sport. You got to be present. It's you need FaceTime with people. It's social, So anyway, we're running short on time. So before we go, I wanted to make another thing about the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club, because there's a lot of people out there that want to get into the investing world and don't know where to start. So I definitely recommend you come to the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club. We do our main monthly meeting on the fourth Wednesday of every month. That's at the Mission Inn in Riverside. If you've never been to the Mission Inn, it's worth just coming for the Mission Inn. I mean, the place is beautiful. Yeah. It's a historical thing, all that good stuff. So go on meetup.com, look up the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club. We've got a whole list of all the upcoming meetings on there. The main monthly meeting is $30, which is really just to cover the cost of the room. As much as we love the Mission Inn, they don't let us do it there for free. So we do have food also. They have some delicious tacos and coffee and all kinds of good stuff that we've kind of grown it to. And then we also have the cash flow meeting the first Wednesday. The second Wednesday of the month is the Let's Make a Deal meeting, where we try to put together a deal live in the audience and show everybody how we evaluate. And then we have the Saturday morning coffee on the Saturday right before the fourth Wednesday. Sounds confusing. All the stuff is up there on meetup.com. Go on there and, come out and meet us. You get to meet people like Isaac, meet myself, meet Steven, all the other mentors, and love to meet you. I want to thank Isaac for coming on today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I got my first radio appearance under my belt.
Exactly. Now you can get in the new wave of communication.
Oh, yeah,
just get on this new thing that they're doing.
Yeah, I was here, not first, because, you were here first.
Oh, yeah. Number 2. Got it.
Yeah, I'll be on the forefront of the new
the new form of communication and entertainment. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we will see you all again here next week. And have a good week, everyone. We'll see you all then. Take care.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on